Go back to the WWF days. There's just a guy you brought up in one of the interviews, Billy Jack Haynes from Oregon.
Yeah, I don't remember having a lot of matches with him.
Him and Ivan Putski had tagged a few times.
It might have been in tag matches, yeah.
I think you guys had worked as the dream team maybe against him.
So we had a lot of, they would shoot a lot of different opponents our direction because, Wyndham and Rotundo, Wyndham quit and then Rotundo was there with Dan Spivey and so, we'd mix it up and we'd work with the Rougeos and we'd work with other teams and the Hart Foundation, all these different, because everybody was after us for the belts, and until we did the thing with the Bulldogs. So, don't remember a lot about Billy Jack. He ended up getting fired. There was this thing going on that guys were. It was some kind of I forget the name of it, but guys would drink it and it would make you pass out. It was a fat burner.
Something. I know what you're talking about. You scoop it and then you.
H something. GHB.
That's it. Yeah.
GHB. So it came in a can, and it was really, you weren't supposed to have a trip off of it or get high off of it, but you would take it and it would make you burn fat, supposedly. I don't know if it ever did. But one of the first times I ever did it, Honky Tonk Man gave it to me. And we're on an airplane, we're up in first class, and he says, here, take some. So I took it, and on an empty stomach, and it made me pass out right away. And I think it passed, the stewardess came to give me my breakfast, and it was a long flight, one of those coast-to-coast jobs, and Honky said I was passed out and I was drooling. So, GHB, so get back to who were we talking about?
Billy Jack Haynes?
Yeah, so he did that on an airplane, but he didn't have Honky Tonk Man covering for him and waking me up. The pilot, or not the pilot, but the stewardess thought, oh, there's something wrong with this guy. He was all, and they couldn't wake him up for breakfast, and he was drooling, and they kicked him out, or they took him off the airplane, and then Vince found out about it and fired him. So he was kind of hard to deal with, and there was fights in the dressing room and stuff. There was this, you remember the name Iron Mike Sharpe?
Oh, sure.
Great, real nice guy. I hope he's still living. He's in Canada, but I think he passed away too, but I hope not. Anyway, he used to hit guys really hard out in the ring. And this was in the Garden. Billy Jack didn't like that, so they went through with a match out there, but when they got back in the dressing room, he punched him out. Bam, bam. And Billy Jack, tough guy, right? He punched poor Iron Mike Sharpe out. And he was a great guy. He always, and if he threw a hard punch, it was across the chest. It wasn't in the face, right, or the neck or anything. And he knocked his block off, and so to speak. And so that got some heat on Billy Jack, and then after that, he got fired after doing the GHB and drooling on the airplane. So they actually they had to they thought something was really wrong when he was having a heart attack or something. So they had to land the airplane, take him off. And Vince was aware of it, GHB, because he had all these stooges these guys are taking this and they're getting high off of it. And I don't know whoever found out you could get buzzed on it. You're supposed to take it before you went to sleep. But if you took it in the daytime or the morning on an empty stomach, you'd buzz out. But the deal was you try to stay awake. And I remember Honky saying, come on, Greg, stay awake, enjoy it. And I'm trying to stay awake, and I went, but he woke me up. He covered for me because my breakfast came there, and I was drooling a little bit. Otherwise, it might have landed the plane for me. So this is another story I want to tell you. Please. It's on the GHB thing. Bobby Heenan, God rest his soul, too. He did the GHB, and he was up in first class, and he did it. And he's flying from from New York back to Tampa, where we all lived back in the day, and he passed out. And when the plane landed, everybody's getting off the plane, and he's still there, and he's drooling. And so they wake him up, and he wakes up, and then the police take him, and they go through his bag, and they found a little bag of marijuana. Back then, now it's legal. Back then it was, it was a misdemeanor, and I don't think he got charged with it or anything. They just took it away from him, and they probably went back and smoked it. But he got in a little trouble for that, but they let him go. It was no big deal. But Bobby actually told me the story, and it was no biggie. But that stuff was bad, so guys quit taking the GHB. I didn't like that. The feeling was, if you could stay awake, it was like,
Yeah.
a lot easier to smoke a joint and hold it in.
Yeah, exactly.